behind the camera, and we're going to be going through today and showing you how to change out the sight glass and the rubber washers on your Hoffman steamer. Okay, so this video here applies to not only the 2 gallons like we have here, we actually have the LG4 that's in our RMA shop right now we're showing demonstrations on. It's not only these, but also the bigger ones too. You know, the 10 by 21 size machines, which are like the 12 kilowatts, all the way up to the 36 kilowatts, they're all very similar, okay? So what you're going to want to do first, make sure the machine is unplugged or powered down if it's a big one, and there's no steam pressure on it, okay? I actually have the gauge off this one, that's usually a good indicator, there's no pressure. So make sure it's open, make sure the vent's open, make sure it's unplugged and unpowered. All you're going to need for equipment on this one is you got to have the new sight glass that's available on our website for sale, and the new rubber washers, okay? So first thing you're going to want to do is take off the sight glass cover. So if you get in here real quick, you can see typically the springs, like so this one is crusty because it's been in the field for a while. One side is open. Okay, that's the side that the guys in the assembly department actually put on first. Okay, it's not the one you're going to take off. And typically it's going to be this one over here. And you can see if I can rotate it around. So this one's seen better days. It's got some crust in there. See this side here? It's going in. It's hooking into the sight glass. That's the one you're going to want to take out by pulling the hook out. So I got a pair of needle nose pliers here. A smaller set would actually work a little better. But rotate that around so you can grab a hold of the eyelet and just pull it out like that. And you guys can see what I mean about, you know, you want to grab the side that's hooked in. Okay, so there's the top one off. You're going to do the same thing on the bottom. If you look at my thumb, I'm actually compressing the spring a little bit. Actually, I can almost pull that one off just my finger. There we go. At that point, you can remove the sight glass guard, okay? Now, so that one's got some serious contamination in it. Let me grab a rag here, we'll wipe it out. Honestly, when this one goes through our RMA shop, we're going to recommend changing this out here. You can see where the fiberglass insulators are all completely worn off on it. So we can recommend changing these sight glasses and washers every 6 months. They actually do erode on the inside, and I'm sure we're going to see evidence of this on this one here, okay? So now with the cover removed, grab your crescent wrench, and you're going to loosen the nuts on the glass fixtures, okay? We're ready, tighty, lefty, loosey. These aren't super tight, like you can see I just gave one little crank there, now it became hand tight. Top one here, so righty tighty, lefty loosey, just keep in mind it's upside down, so you're going to go the opposite direction. And I'm going to loosen that one as well. Okay, you can see there's the rubber on that one stuck to the glass, which is what you ideally want. There you can see I just pulled it out on accident. The rubber on the bottom is actually in the nut still. When I pull that out, I'll show you. So you can see when you pick this up, the glass can go up inside of the top fixture, okay, allowing you to pivot it out and remove it. Okay, the bottom one, if you look down on it here, Dakota, has these little nubs on there that will actually hold the glass in place. And you can see in the bottom of that nut there is the rubber washer for the bottom side. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm actually going to pull, there's a piece of rubber washer that got stuck in the bottom fixture there. I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to take my rubber washers off. And what's really important here is that you remove this brass washer, okay? We're going to need that. So I got my brass washer, I got my sight glass nut. I'm going to pull the other one off the glass. We're going to do the same thing. Let's pull the rubber out of it. There, I heard the washer. Just on the side, you can see these things getting really chewed up. Pull the washer, okay. These are actually in, like I said, these are actually in pretty poor condition here, so you guys can totally see how these would start leaking. What you're gonna want to do is clean up the inside of these as best you can. Soap and water works decent. You know, Windex is another good product for cleaning these up. The actual sealing surface on these, so this rubber washer, when you tighten it down, it expands. It seals against the glass and it seals against the outside of the packing nut here. Very similar to like a packing nut on like a gate valve or something you might have in your house if you have older plumbing. So I'm going to clean the washers. And of course, the cleaner you get these, the better. This is a demonstration video, so I'm not going to go carried away. When we run this through the RMA shop for real, we'll go a little more serious with it. So put the washers back into the into the bottom of the nuts there. Put your new rubbers in, right? There we go. At that point in time, you can run the new sight glass into them. As you can see, that way is kind of hard because it's trying to push it out. There we go, I'm running this one in too. Okay. Okay. There we go, and at this point, like I said, the top one's the one that's got the relief in there so it can go up into it. Ooh, you can see the carbon come out of this one. This is actually a prime example of a boiler that wasn't cleaned well enough. You know, they didn't blow this down correctly, they used bad water in it, so it's got a lot of contamination. It's going to get flush wells here as well. So there we go. I put the glass in the top fixture. I lower down in the bottom. No point should you have to change the direction of these. If for some reason one of these comes loose and you misalign it, you know, I recommend they're calling our tech support line to help you out with that. If these aren't aligned correctly, it can cause the glass to break, so you want to be careful with that. But at this point here, we're just going to finger tighten washers down here. Like I said, actually, you're going to want to tighten the bottom one first because it's, sorry, let me loosen that. Keep them both kind of snug. It's set on the bottom. Now at that point, just pick it up a hair. You can see the word. You're going to want to pick it up about 1/8 of an inch, right? You don't want the glass sitting on that bottom fixture, otherwise it can cause the glass to crack with the thermal expansion, okay? So kind of watch this distance here. Like I said, the nuts right now are snug. I can still move the glass, and I'm picking it up about 1/8 of an inch, okay? You don't want to pick it up so far that it actually comes out of the washer, but you need to pick it up so far that the glass is not resting on that bottom fixture. Okay, and then I'm tightening these nuts down by hand, and I'm going to tighten the packing the rest of the way. Typically, once you go hand tight, you only got to go about maybe 2 flats with your wrench. Kind of try to remember how tight it was when you loosened it. If you go too tight with these things, you can break the glass from over compressing it. Honestly, I'd recommend keeping them loose. Worst case scenario, loose. You'll get a little bit of a steam leak out of there. If that's the case, power the machine back off, vent it, cool it off, let it cool off all the way, and then go maybe another, like I said, I hope that's right. Then go maybe another 1/2 flat on your nut there. Tighten it up, see if the leak resolves, and keep repeating the process till it does. Like I said, it's better to be able to tighten it later than have it too tight in the first place. So at that point there, it's got its new safety glass installed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put, like I said, obviously if this was on a machine in the field, I'd recommend replacing the glass guard as well. We offer them. I'm going to put that back on. Now be mindful which way the springs go. We had it like this and we brought the springs around the back, okay? So I'm going to put it right back on. And grab my spring and my needle noses. This is the hardest part of this job. There we go. Like I said, I'm using my thumb on the back of the spring to kind of guide it in. Same deal on the bottom here, you can see there. I stretch it out and I use my thumb to kind of hold it at its stretched out state. And I'm just using the needle noses to guide it into the hole. And then at that point, you just rotate it around back its proper direction so it covers the operator if the glass were to fail. So, and that's all there is to it. That's the sight glass replacement on the Hoffman boiler. We recommend you do this every 6 months.